Hey, WokeNFree Nation, Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice.
For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening.
You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science to Bitcoin, or even one of your favorite celebrities. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud.
And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, WokeNFree, is there too.
Now let's get into the episode. Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 271st episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we're asking the question, what anime creators get wrong? Or maybe not a question, maybe a statement, maybe a little bit of both.
Wow.
But nonetheless, it will be an interesting conversation. But before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of things to go over. First, have you gone to WokeNFree.com not only to listen to this episode, but to download it through the Podbean app? If not, please do so immediately. Because if you have the app and you download it, then you can download the episode. Then you can put your comments and you can tell us what your thoughts are on anime. Are you a fan? Are you vehemently against it? What are your thoughts on what you think anime creators are getting wrong? There's a myriad of things that you can share with us, so we want to hear it all. Make sure you do that. Now, if you listen to podcasts on devices where you cannot download another app onto it, such as the Podbean app, then what we ask is go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, and then pick your platform of choice where you're going to follow and subscribe to the show at. So where is WokeNFree? We're on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. It's a WokeNFree world. Samsung podcast, we're everywhere. So please do that. Now, of course, on WokeNFree.com at the top of the page, you can also click to subscribe and follow the show through the Podbean app. And on social, we'd love to hear from you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokeNFree. And if you have 90 seconds, which is, again, more of a statement, less of a question, we'd love for you to give us a review. So go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, and pick your platform of choice where you'd like to review the show at. I'm going to kick it to you now, Khalil.
And then I'll take it from here. Before we start the conversation, we'd like to share a little bit about ourselves. This week, we're asking, would you rather teach aerobics or yoga?
Ooh, so you definitely know what I'm going to say here. So the idea of having to sweat in front of a group of people intentionally, it seems challenging, but also falling asleep is probably more harder or embarrassing. And yoga, for some reason, if it's not like hard and it's super relaxing, I tend to have a wonderful nap. So, and that's been documented a couple of times.
That's good to know.
So I guess I'm going to have to choose with option A, which is the aerobics, and I'm going to have to sweat.
That's good.
So I'm going to have to get like a really cute outfit to do this, just so we're just getting it cute and together. But what are your choice? What would you do?
But I was going to say that the only other yoga that would keep you awake is goat yoga.
Well, yeah, because I would be super interested in petting
you'd be interested in the goats.
Animals, yeah, and then just also wondering if they don't feces on you. That's what I was always wondering. Like, there's no feces that comes out after they're
maybe they are
frolicking and jumping on you.
Maybe they make sure they empty their bowels before engaging in this activity.
See, now that just raises other questions in my mind. So but I would be super interested in that. And if anyone listening has done goat yoga, please put in the comments what that experience is.
If it's a messy experience or not.
Is it messy?
It's definitely a good question to get the answer to. For me, I actually choose aerobics just because I think that's the better of the two exercises.
Okay.
I don't even know if yoga is considered an exercise, but whatever yoga is considered,
it's a form of dance,
an activity.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yoga is a form of dance.
No, aerobics is a form of dance. So you want to get your heart.
But I'm saying, No, I'm saying I don't know if yoga is considered exercise or not, but aerobics is exercise.
I think. Yeah, because there's
I mean, it's exercise for your...
it's like your mind, body, soul type of situation.
And it's just, I mean, because you know what I think of yoga? I think of yoga as just stretching, really. It's not really muscle building.
I don't think it's muscle building, but it's muscle stretching, and it's the
Pilates are harder.
The ability to be more like loose with your muscles and your joints.
Yeah, it seems like it's just a calming stretching thing. So I don't consider yoga exercise. So I'd rather do aerobics because at least I know that's doing my heart, working that out.
But we don't want to make it seem like yoga's easy because it's not. I've tried it. It's very hard.
It's not about easy. I'm just talking about exercising like one of the most important organs in your body, if not the most important organ in your body, the heart. So that's why I think aerobics, to me, it destroys yoga. Yeah. Just in terms of the importance of it. Stuff, just in terms of the importance, like what it does for you. Aerobics is really, and then
kicks things into gear for you.
Yeah, but yoga is probably good for your mental state kind of thing.
It's very relaxing.
I don't think aerobics can hit it as much as yoga could in terms, but it puts you to sleep. So
it does. It makes me very calm. It's really, it's something.
Yeah, and this episode, I don't think it's going to make people calm. That's one thing I'll tell them.
That's a nice sloppy transition, yep.
Really? This seemed like a real smooth one.
Only in your mind.
All right, it's very smooth because it actually applied, and it was something based off of what you said.
Okay.
And, what we have to ask is, what is anime, and what do anime creators get wrong?
Okay, so right to the heart of it. So when I think of anime, I would say I think of it being an animated content that has a kind of a style or connection to like Japanese culture. And, that's how I would think about it or kind of contextualize it in my mind. And then to go into the space of what are animator creators getting wrong. So I just want to be fully 100% woke and free and transparent. I do not necessarily spend a great amount of time in my adulthood nor in my childhood watching and consuming a lot of anime. I definitely have watched animated content throughout my life, but I would say based on what I have seen, here are a couple things that I think that anime creators are getting wrong. First and foremost, accessibility. The only way I even think about anime or it comes across my mind is when I go to the library and I see is it called manga? Manga, that's what it's called. Manga, comics, and then anime DVDs and stuff like that. And so outside of that, I know that they are on Netflix. I know that they're on Peacock. We have links in the episode for that, but those are not pieces of content that get recommended to me. On my social media feeds, I do not get recommended anime content. And so I think that I think that's really interesting because of all the content that's out there, like, why is that it just seems like it's either less accessible or less promoted, however you want to phrase it.
Maybe it's less promoted than some other stuff.
Yeah, and I just think that that's a shame because we'll talk about some stats in the episode, but it is a highly watched genre. So it seems weird to me there. Second, racial diversity. So again, of the anime I have seen, I know that since I have primarily watched it, there has been some expansion and some growth, but generally speaking, I do not see a bunch of characters that are reflective of me. And I get it. It's not like watching soap opera. So they're not going to have different representation maybe across the spectrum of folks, but I would be nice to see a little bit more racial body diversity representation just to reflect the world that we live in, because there are many different communities that enjoy and actively engage in watching this content. So it's always a really good idea, especially for the youth, to be able to see themselves in the content that they're consuming. So it reinforces the idea that who they are and how they look and how they are in this world is absolutely justified and absolutely desired and absolutely something to be proud of. And I don't necessarily see that. And then last, Nick, would be the voice acting. I get it. Voice acting is difficult, but there's got to be a better way to some of the voice acting styles and how the delivery lands to make it a little bit more, I think, similar to how I guess other forms of content go about voice acting. I find that with anime, it seems very extreme or just like not really.
You think other content does it better? Because I mean, they do it pretty bad too.
I know
That's
dubbed content definitely can be challenging, but
usually it's pretty much on the same level.
I don't know, and maybe it's less the voice acting, and maybe it's more of the writing and the story development. I have to.
Voice acting is very similar.
I have to explore more of the genre,
well.
which, based on this episode, I'm really actually excited to do a little bit more digging and diving into this, especially since as our son is growing up and he's very much into animated content already at 16 months. I'm interested in understanding. Are there more pieces within this world that resonate with me and sit better with me? So that's a lot. That's where I sit with it.
Wow. Those are some definite... I could definitely see your points that you have against anime. And
just areas of opportunity.
Yeah. And the actual definition of anime seems pretty loose, but it's a Japanese film and art style that's very specific to that culture.
Okay.
And there's some telltale signs that you're looking at anime, but technically anime, it's a type of cartoon, really. Mm-hmm. But I think you could really see the difference of anime kind of like in early 90s and 80s compared with the rest of the cartoons by how they were drawn.
So like Dragon Ball Z versus like Rugrats, right? Like totally different.
Rugrats or Looney Tunes. I'm talking about like even older cartoons, because Dragon Ball Z that's like very old. Right? Yeah. It's an old cartoon. Or Dragon Ball, that's even older. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the art style, it's a lot different than the American cartoons, I should say.
Okay.
So that's like the definition of anime. It's a little loose now, because if you look at cartoons now, even American cartoons, they have a hint of that anime style in it, with the sharp lines and the clean coloring and I guess the more realistic visuals. So and some animes aren't as realistic. Like there's a lot of types. Like within anime, there's definitely subgenres as well. But when I think of, I'm a big anime fan. I watch as many animes as I can. That's part of my normal content I watch. So I like to find like what's the best and watch that. And I watch the popular ones. I watch unpopular ones, like everything. I like anime. So it's definitely a form of entertainment for me. But when I think of things that they get wrong, the things I think of is sometimes the human body parts, the ratios are way off. So you look at the eyes, they have these gigantic eyes that are bigger than the moon, and it doesn't make sense. How does that fit on your face, I ask? That's my question.
Are there other body parts as well?
Yeah, a lot of other body ratios are off too. So sometimes they'll give them the smallest legs, and then the women will have the biggest breast.
That's such a problem too, yeah.
It is, but it's not like they give the men the giant parts. Men don't get anything giant. Except sometimes their arms are giant. That's it. No, I'm saying realistically, that's what they do for men. Okay. They'll make them like super, not all of them though. I don't think that's a general, but in a generality, the body part, the eyes are usually off, and
disproportionate.
Breasts are always like huge. Butts aren't even that big in it, to be honest. They're just kind of normal.
Real missed opportunity.
Yeah, they don't have that in there, really.
Nice.
The second issue is, I think that in general, the animes don't cater to women. I think they really just cater to men. Just how it's written,
I would agree with that.
how it's shown. Yeah. It's definitely not aimed at women. Like if I was a woman, it'd be a tougher argument for why I should watch anime. But since I'm a man, I'm okay with watching it.
Being chauvinistic.
But that's what it's made to appeal to. No, it's made to appeal to the male testosterone kind of thing that gets going.
But there's an area of opportunity.
But it's they're missing out on women.
Okay.
And the third point is similar to what you said, but mine is I'm more specific as that. I just think there's not enough melanin in characters. They try to make just these pasty,
diverse in coloring and
pasty
shading.
Characters. Yeah, there's not a lot of just darker characters. I mean, it could be any race or whatever, but they usually don't. If you look, most of the characters are as light as possible.
Oh, okay,
and that's interesting. And the next thing is, I don't like when animes they don't stick to the laws of the anime's universe. So they'll throw in some real stuff and they'll throw in some fake stuff and.
Meaning, like, just to break it down for the audience, you mean like a show creates kind of a universe and then
with
the
specific kind of rules.
And then they start to break those rules.
Yeah, they break the rules just for whatever fun. They run out of ideas.
Why do you feel like that's an issue? I mean, I can imagine why.
Because, I mean, when people watch anime, they kind of want to get, I don't I mean, they want to get kind of like deep in the story and involved, and I think that kind of breaks the excitement of it.
Interesting.
It just makes it kind of takes you out of the moment. It happens with other like film and media too, though. They do that all the time where something happens that there's no way they didn't have that ability or something. Like they add a new ability and it's really not explained. It's not realistic,
and there's no backup story.
Yeah, it's just kind of just thrown in there just because that's fun. And then this one kind of goes with the last one, but it's this thing they call plot armor, and that's when they have a character, like let's say the main character in the anime, they get in trouble, but somehow they miraculously escape with some new powers that seem to come from nowhere. So that's a very specific like type of breaking, but it's not technically. You might not be breaking the laws of the animation
but they're
universe,
just kind of creating new rules.
Yeah, they did it. A miracle happens just because the character can't die.
Maybe they're trying.
So it's like a terrible plot hole kind of thing.
Law of attraction, where it's like when you really need to get out of something, you manifest.
Just something comes out of nowhere, and it's like, all right, this is a whole new thing.
But that's like
nobody
life,
could
right?
guess.
Something could be going crazy, and then all of a sudden you just find a way to get out of it, and you've never done that before. So
you're listening to
WokeNFree.
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 Podcast that keeps it real and honest. Let's do it.
Anomalies, right?
Yeah,
I get it though. It can be disruptive to the audience.
It's just not realistic, because it's kind of like a thing in real life that person wouldn't have made it, right? But they haven't make it. So I think these are some key problems that a lot of animes have. What are key anime stats people might not know about?
So I'm really excited you asked this, because as we were preparing for this episode, again, like this requires more research or more work for me, because I am not. Well, I don't live in the world of anime, right? Like, so you on a weekly basis, daily basis consume this content. I would say maybe I look at it at a quarterly or a couple of times a year, right? But I'm going to try to do a bit more now with our son. But some stats I thought were really interesting come from headphone.
I wouldn't say weekly or daily though. For me, it depends on the content I'm consuming.
So monthly,
at the time.
then I guess. Okay.
I mean, I might, but I might go a month without it. Like it's really just depending on the show and what. Because I don't try to watch too many shows at the same time.
Okay.
So I would say, I don't know if it's like, that I'm that crazy that I have to get my anime fix. Gotcha. It's not like that, but I do watch anime.
All right. Well, on headphonesaddict.com, they claim the following. There's 36% or 2.88 billion viewers worldwide that have enjoyed watching anime in 2021, which that number to me is wildly larger than I thought it was going to be. To say that many people around the globe are tuning into anime, and for anime to not be as reflective of and diverse as the amount of people watching it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Also, over 100 million households globally had watched at least one anime title on Netflix in 2020. So Netflix is a good distributor of animes to over 100 million households. That's incredible, and I'm sure that number has gone up since 2021. And then anime is the third most in-demand subgenre worldwide, with a 5.5% demand share. Around 30% of American adults have a favorable impression of anime. Around 33% of the Japanese said that they watch anime or read manga. And then almost 90% of young Japanese said that they watch anime. And
that makes sense.
The anime industry reached over 2.4 trillion yen, which is 22.5 billion in 2020. This is a massively huge industry. And that's just some of those stats just like really blew my mind, because I'm just like, wow, well then there's definitely a lot of opportunity for us to diversify in the space, but also create more content that's reflective of the global audience that it has.
Because anime, I think it even gave birth and made really popular cosplay. Where people dress up as these characters.
And that
it really has blown that up.
Gone through the years.
Yeah, so that's a part of it too. So yeah, I can understand it being worth that much.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we should also look at, I think, the ranking of these popular animes. Okay. And it's hard to actually say what's the most popular anime of all time. I don't know what your metric really is. What do you measure based on? Is it just surveys? But I saw this one site by Page Logi, and it made a list of just actual anime records held in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I just go by Guinness because they usually they have a process that they go through. They're a little bit more reliable than just some random site that said this is the best anime of all time because I saw a lot of those. But so the first thing, I've never even heard of this anime. It's called Saze-san, and it's the longest running animated television series for 50 years. It actually has been running. Jesus. And it's the longest ever. It beats out Simpsons. I thought Simpsons was the longest. Yeah, it's still running.
Wow.
50 years. It's
in Japan or in the US.
Well, that's interesting how you say it. I don't know how you can view it. I mean, you might be able to, we're in new times. You may be able to stream it.
There may be a
so you might be able to stream it on like Crunchyroll. Because there's a site called Crunchyroll, and that was one of the first sites to just stream anime.
Interesting.
That has a fee for if you want to listen to it dubbed, but I think you could watch stuff, a lot of subtitles for free for a lot of these animes. But if you want the dub, they charge for that. So I think that's funny. Because there's people that are purists too that will only watch the subtitled, but I don't think you got to go with that. You need to consume content how you want, right? Yeah. I don't think there's a correct way to do it. The next thing is this is a anime that I just started watching, and I mean technically this is it's based off the manga. But the record is that One Piece, it is the most copies published for the same comic book series by a single author, awarded in 2015 with 77 volumes at the time. The series is still ongoing. So for this manga, there's an anime that directly correlates with it, and that's still going as well. So
that's cool.
That's why I think that's interesting. That's a really long series. It just keeps going. And then an anime called Spirited Away.
I remember that.
That's the first anime film to receive an Oscar in 2003.
That's crazy it took that long, too, probably. Because, I mean, anime...
It's been around for a long time, yeah.
2003, but at least But see, it's interesting. I wonder...
It took till 2003 for them to direct. But it's just like we were saying, the voice acting left a lot to be desired. And the writing is sometimes not there.
There's opportunity for growth.
Because sometimes anime, like I said, is just catering right to just men's little appetite of just action, and that's kind of it, Sometimes they just go that way. What would you like to see when it comes to anime?
So if I were to have a hand in anime creation or influencing anime creators, I would like to see the following. First and foremost, more promotion in mainstream content. So social media, when I'm watching my regular soap operas, am I gonna see some type of a advertisement for an anime, or when I'm scrolling and I'm seeing, Aaron Carter, like all these different news things, is it going to pop up and kind of make it more accessible, make it more streamlined and
they kind of like separate that though, with kind of cartoons don't pop up when you're watching.
I know, but somehow you know about like the,
because it's even like with
like The Simpsons or American Dad or like those things.
The Simpsons could come up on depending on the channel you're watching, you can hear about Simpsons.
But I definitely just never hear enough about anime. So I would like to see just more promotion. Like mentioned before, more body and racial diversity. For the amount of people watching this, we have an opportunity to have representation in a meaningful way, and it would probably mean the world to young people and also people our own age and older who could just love to consume content that represents them, that resonates with them. It makes us as human beings feel better. There's a psychological element that's being totally missed here for no apparent reason.
And there's a large black population that watches anime too. That's what's interesting.
And also in this episode, we have included the links for Netflix and Peacock that show anime links. So you click on it and you'll be able to see all the animes that are available on both of those platforms. So make sure you check that out on WokeNFree.com. And then to speak to a little bit, you mentioned it before, the compelling story. So, for folks like me who, if you're like me, you are in love with love and you love like really good content, really juicy story plots, and also things that are that leave you wanting more. I would love to see some, and again, I have to do my due diligence and watch more anime to see if I'm missing out on some like really stellar content development.
There's a ton of anime. Yeah, I just think you gotta find it.
I have to find it. But then also, when we do have animated content now, I don't think the Intergalactic by Kenya Barris that came out on Netflix recently would constitute as anime. I think it's animated
Yeah,
content.
it's a little different.
But again, that's like an example of like beautifully drawn and done and animated content that had such a weak storyline. No disrespect, Kenya Barris. Shout out to you and all the work that you're doing, but that storyline was weak, sir. And so we just want to make sure that when we do have, I bring it up only because it was such a cool opportunity to see black and brown faces and bodies in animated, not necessarily anime, but animated content. And it just not kind of really hitting home from a story content perspective. But
yeah, that's not gonna be like a classic that you go back to.
It was
be honest.
so beautifully
but to
made,
look at as a piece of art,
it was absolute moving art. Yeah,
it was great.
It was fire for that.
Hey, I like the music too,
and the music. Yes, shout out to Kid Cudi.
Because you don't have music like that in a animated film like this. So.
Yeah, and that brings up a great point too. Like, and again, you could tell me what the music is, but like when I think of music, I just think of like Dragon Ball Z, and I'm just like, oh Lord.
No, they don't have that.
But I would love to have more like cool, dope. And it doesn't have to be like rap all the time, but it could just be like cool music insertion. I love content with great music. Like
they try. I don't think they usually try not to interrupt the anime with music of sorts. I mean, they'll do it when it's like these critical moments. Yeah, they'll play this music and to get it pumping and stuff. But and then they'll have like background music, but they'll have like these theme songs for the intro and outros.
But they don't have it throughout the content then.
No, usually like not songs with lyrics is what I'll say. They try not to have lyrical songs throughout the content.
And that would be an opportunity to really kind of experiment a little bit. And
it's only for the intros and outros.
People love a hot beat. People love music that makes them bump and move and think. And so how would that just change anime in and of itself? Even if you didn't change anything else, just like adding some cool beats and music to that, John. Like, let's do that.
Yeah, I guess it's the type of folk that are watching. They gotta think, but there should be some that do that.
Just an opportunity.
If there are, to be honest, of all the anime I've watched, I've seen rare times where they played music with lyrics throughout the show. I haven't seen that, so that they could do that. And for me, what I would ask for is really just the increase of melanin characters is really what I'm going for.
Where the black people at?
Yeah. And then what I like to see is I'd like to see like black stories and then sci-fi mixed into that to show us more in that kind of realm.
You just dropping gems right there.
Have our actual stories. So not some like cookie cutter thing and here's the black characters, but actually a story that is written by and for blacks, but it's written by blacks because we can tell our story the best. I'm sorry.
Black and brown, right? We want mix. We want native
brown
stories,
people. I count them as black, so that's the same to me.
That's a whole other combo.
Yeah, they're all
careful, sir.
It's an umbrella term when I say black because it means a lot, and we need more of those stories being told.
People of color, being represented.
Yeah, you can say it like that, but like I said, with the sci-fi mixed in, because that's what I like about animes, because it makes you think about. They usually have some tie to science or something that's a little bit fictional in nature, so I like that in anime, so I'd like to see it from a different perspective. That'd be really nice.
That would be really cool. Yeah. I think you should make that.
Yep. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Akira created one of the most successful animes of all time. It had the classic action-packed adventure and ever-evolving story men come to expect. He wants to expand his audience, but is not sure if he should start a new series or just modify his masterpiece. What would you suggest he do?
Ooh, what an interesting question. So when you have like a really successful engine and you're trying to grow your universe or grow your audience, what do? Do you replicate? Do you modify? I would say if Akira could go in and identify what is the kind of magic secret sauce that made his world so successful already with this masterpiece, then I would say if he could identify those different components, then start to contemplate, well, how does he want to expand? Does he want to expand to women? Does he want to expand to plus size? Does he want to expand to people of color? Like, who is he trying to expand to? And then take those magic secret sauce formula to then envelop a new storyline that's going to have that output and that to that new audience, because you want to always think about when you're trying to put out something, what is the outcome that you're trying to achieve, right? And so if you know what you want to achieve, then you can back into it and kind of, if you already have a magic formula, just you're changing out some spots, but you're replicating the sauce.
Oh, interesting.
That's where my mind went. How about you?
I would think that he needs to just start a new series because you modify the Mona Lisa and people come after you where you sleep. So it's very dangerous to do that kind of stuff.
recommend a new series. I'm just saying.
Oh, you do recommend one.
I recommend a new series, but what I'm saying is,
but I thought you said make just a new storyline for his old.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I can add clarification. So I'm saying do a new story, but be very but be very intentional about whatever made the existing series super successful. Putting those, so if it's like,
all right, so just copy it over
art, music, like what are the components?
Copy some of the things,
but then change out the new thing for the new audience you're trying to reach.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. I mean,
but I agree. Once you have a master, like the Mona Lisa is the Mona Lisa, you cannot change.
You can't just put a mustache on it and say, "Look, it's for new audience."
I mean, you can be funny, but
but people are going to be outraged as well.
But that's going to be viral. So, So
what if you put a ball on top of the pyramids? You can't do that, right? People are going to be pissed.
Unless you say aliens did it. You can't get angry at E.T.
All right. I mean, I guess you could blame it on somebody, but as original artists, if you modify your own work and, you could piss people off. So I don't know.
But you'll be viral. So think about it.
Maybe in this day and age, but not back when the pyramids were constructed.
They might have tried to physically harm people,
Yeah, they'd say, don't mess with that. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. It's made this way for a reason. So, yeah, I agree with you. Just new series is what I say. Scenario 2. Masashi created an anime about ninjas with elaborate romances and head-turning drama. Recently, he was criticized about all the female characters having absurdly large breasts. Should he reduce the breast size so the women don't look like they have macromastia or gigantomastia?
Are you out of your mind? Are you asking me a question?
It's an excellent question because some anime creators
How am I
like
supposed
to know
what macromasia and gyno whatever means?
Giganto.
Yeah, what am I supposed to mean? What are you suggesting? Bigger and bigger?
Yeah, basically, one is big and one is bigger. one is a certain.
So that's the standard. The women are just big and big. You're saying.
Well, I'm saying in his content, it's either one or the other. There's no small ones. It's big or bigger. So should he actually reduce their breast size because he was being criticized about that?
This is a crazy question, but does it get in the way of them being ninjas? Because I would say if it's in the game,
now you're being judgy. So
what I'm trying to say is that's what my question is. No, but that's what I'm saying. Why are the characters being criticized? Like, does it make them as ninjas less believable that they're ninjas because of their voluptuous?
Well, that's why people are criticizing it, but it's not that it gets in the way because he's making this.
So they're still able to move and do the
anime. They're moving just normally.
Oh, okay, but they just have voluptuous top
with real physics. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's real physics involved.
So okay, but is it to the point where then they're not taken seriously as ninjas and they're really sexualized in this content then?
Well, this is a romance, so I don't think so.
Feministic?
This is elaborate romances, so I don't think so. Not in this context.
So they're not being fetishized.
Well, of course, the people that watch it will do it, but the person himself is actually not doing it. The creator, because he actually is looking into the content. Like,
well, to both of our earlier points, there's something to be said about diversification of content. So at the end of the day, I would recommend if he doesn't want to disrupt the world for which he's created, then create a new series where there's diverse ninjas or a different type of women in the world who are doing cool work with different breast sizes. And that way we are not ostracizing or making women who are more top heavy or women who are less top heavy feel a certain kind of way about the content. And, that way you preserve the world of which that is. And then you also are creating a new world where there's more diversity, for more representation.
Oh, so a new series then.
Maybe, so because I could imagine that people would be very, very irritated if they are looking to look at some things and those things are gone. So
you're saying that, but I think they're going to be upset because let's say you're watching one episode and you have these giant things flying around. Then on the next episode, the Giants are missing. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think people would be
it would really,
really
change
disturbed
everything
about it,
because you're just used to seeing those huge things in your face, and then they're not there.
What kind of question is this, Khalil?
It's a real question because a lot of animes, like I said, they like to have the wrong body proportions.
Yeah,
so that's why this is good for you to answer.
Yep.
but if they're showing these people with syndromes, then it's actually explainable why that happens. See, because that's maybe what they're doing in the animes. So what are you suggesting?
Go for the biggest ones?
Yeah, I'd say make them even bigger because they criticize. Like introduce new characters. There should be new characters where that's all they are. Actually, you can't even.
Okay.
They just roll around as
remember
a ninja.
They're ninjas too.
Yeah, they're rolling ninjas.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
Thank you for your answer.
My answer is don't let the critics deter you.
Okay.
Yep. Scenario 3. Ichiro had a long-standing anime that he has been releasing for decades. He decided to take a shot at a new anime filled with diverse people and progressive ideas. The anime bombed, with people saying they wish they were paid to watch it and wanted the time wasted given back. Should he continue this new series or go back to his old anime that fans seem to love?
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate where you take the opportunity to try to be different and then it doesn't necessarily hit or resonate as well. The new series just launched though, right? So it's not, It hasn't been out for a long time. I would say before abandoning a project, you cannot make everyone love something or love you. That is just a fact of life that people will be mad at you for some reason or no reason at all. It is what it is. I would say give it whatever I'm not an anime creator yet in life, so I don't know what the appropriate measure of metrics, kind of time would be. Should he wait 3 months? Should he wait 6 months? A year? I'm not quite sure what the time would be on that, but whatever the industry standard is for assessing whether something is a hit or not a hit, I would follow and prescribe to that timeline. And then after that, try to survey people and try to understand why are people saying, hey, it's trash, right? Is it trash for the content? Is it trash for the art? Is it trash for the music, the writing, the voice? Try to identify the pieces that could be areas of opportunity. And then at that decision, decide if there's an opportunity to fix and adjust, or if you have to, fully just kind of close the idea down.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know if that you can make some changes as maybe people will actually start enjoying it again, enjoying it more now. So and also how you market it, and then also is it because it's being marketed to a group of people who are more traditionalist or truest in anime content creation, and he needs to get it in front of more progressive people who are open to there are some people who don't want diversity in anything. That's true.
So whether in any industry or any space, so whenever you present it to them, they're going to have a problem with it.
Exactly.
So if your show or content is being marketed to that audience, then people are going to come for you. But if you market it to people who thrive and crave like us, if someone said, hey, we'd love to share with you our diverse anime for you to review it on the show, we would love that, because we're all about diversity and wanting to see different images and progressive ideas. So you have to find your tribe. So I think that there's still time to see, but it'll just have to take time. But that's an interesting question as well.
Definitely.
We are at that time again. It's coming to the end of our 271st episode of WokeNFree. Weirdo. This was quite the episode asking the question, what anime creators get wrong? So again, more of a statement and a question. We shall see what you think, because we want to see your thoughts in the comments. Now, Khalil, what do folks need to do?
Come back next week for the new WokeNFree Wednesday episode. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, we definitely are considering 2023 submissions. Go to our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com to share your story, share your pitch, make it your best one. And for social media, again, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokenFree. And all sponsorship and collaboration queries, go to our Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.